to tell you a story about Jesus. Now I know you've heard a lot of stories. You've heard stories of Jesus being born and Jesus when he was a grown man. But did you hear the story of Jesus when he was 12 years old? I remember that story because I'm Mary, his mother. And when Jesus was 12 years old, Joseph, his father, and I took Jesus to the temple in Jerusalem. It was a big event. And so we went with many of our friends and our neighbors and Jesus' cousins and his aunts and his uncles. There was a whole group of people. We packed a picnic lunch to eat on the way. And we finally got to Jerusalem. It was wonderful. Jesus loved the big city. He loved going up and down the streets into the marketplace and meeting new people and visiting new friends. It was an exciting time. And then Passover was over and it was time for us to go home. And so we gathered up everything and said goodbye to everyone, and we got a really late start, as you do sometimes when you travel. And so we knew that as we walked home, we were going to have to spend the night under the stars. So we all walked together, talking about the wonderful things we saw, the food we ate, how wonderful it was to be in the temple and worship God. And then night started to fall, and we decided to make a campfire and have some food. And I pulled out our food and started feeding everybody and my family, and there was no Jesus. So I started looking around. I went to his aunts and his uncles, no Jesus. His cousins, they hadn't seen him. His friends, they hadn't seen him. I went to Joseph. I said, Joseph, Jesus is gone. He didn't come with us. Well, what are we going to do? Joseph said. And I said, we're going to have to go back to Jerusalem and find him. So we left everybody there and walked back all night long to get to Jerusalem to find Jesus. We went to the house where we stayed. And the people there said, no, they hadn't seen Jesus. We went to his new friends' houses. No, they hadn't seen Jesus either. We went up one street and down another street. We went to the market. We went to the butcher. We went to the baker. We went everywhere. We couldn't find Jesus. It had been forever, and I'm really, really worried. What's happened to him? Well, one morning, Joseph woke up and he says, I know what we're going to do. And I said, what are we going to do? He says, we're going to the temple. We need to pray to God to help us find Jesus. So we went to the temple, and when we got in the temple, I was so shocked. There's Jesus sitting there among the rabbis and the teachers, talking to them like he's a grown person. I couldn't believe it. I walked up to him and I said, Jesus, where have you been? We have been worried sick about you. We've been looking for you for 3 days. And Jesus very calmly looked up at me and said, well, Mother, where else would I be but in the temple to learn about God? Where else would I be except in my Father's house? And I looked at Joseph, and he looked at me, and I thought, what does he mean, his Father's house? What does it mean to say he's the Son of God? I don't understand what that means. So we finally said, Jesus, it's time for you to go home with us. And he got up and he came with us, and we walked all the way back home. And Jesus was very obedient, very loving, and very kind to everyone, just like always. And he grew up. And when he grew up and he knew he was ready, he went out and he told everyone he could meet about God.